I'd always been a city dweller. The cacophony of traffic and hum of voices, a comforting symphony that lulled me to sleep. But here I was, in the dead of night, nestled in a rickety cabin deep within the heart of an ancient forest. The eerie silence pressed against my eardrums, punctuated only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the rustle of nocturnal creatures foraging in the underbrush. The first unnerving moment came when I decided to take a walk around the perimeter of the cabin. It was a clear night, stars scattered across the sky like diamonds strewn on black velvet. As I ventured deeper into the woods, my footsteps seemed to echo louder with each crunch of twigs and leaves beneath my boots. It felt as if the forest itself was listening, holding its breath as it waited for something to happen. Suddenly, I heard a low hum, barely perceptible above the whispering wind. It sounded almost like a lullaby, hauntingly beautiful yet tinged with an indefinable sadness. I followed the sound, drawn towards it like a moth to flame. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the music stopped. I spun around, but there was nothing, no source, no explanation. Just silence once again. Back inside the cabin, I tried to shake off the unsettling feeling brought on by the mysterious melody. I lit a fire in the old stone hearth, its warm glow casting flickering shadows across the wooden walls. The second unnerving moment occurred when those shadows began to move. At first, I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then I saw it. A definite shape, shifting independently from the rest of the dancing flames. A gust of wind blew through the chimney, sending sparks flying and scattering embers. The shadow grew larger, more defined. It looked like a man, or at least a man-shaped figure, outlined in stark relief against the flickering backdrop. I blinked, and it was gone, leaving me questioning whether it had ever been there at all. Despite these unnerving incidents, I managed to drift off to sleep, lulled by the crackling fire and the gentle soughing of the wind outside. However, my respite was short-lived. The third unnerving moment occurred when I woke up in the middle of the night, convinced someone was watching me. My heart pounded in my chest as I sat up, straining my ears for any sound beyond the usual creaks and groans of the old cabin settling. There, standing by the window, was the silhouette of a person. Despite the darkness, I could make out details: broad shoulders, a hat pulled low over the face. Fear froze me in place, rendering me incapable of movement or speech. The figure turned slowly towards me, and through the grimy pane, our eyes met. But instead of terror, all I felt was an overwhelming sense of sadness, as deep and profound as the silence of the forest outside. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, leaving me alone in the dimly lit cabin. I lay back down, my heart still racing, unsure whether what I'd seen was real or just another product of my overactive imagination. Yet, sleep eluded me for the rest of the night, the echo of that haunting lullaby and the memory of the sad-eyed stranger forever etched into my mind. As dawn broke, a soft glow seeped through the cracks in the cabin walls, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in time with the lingering echoes of the haunting lullaby. I rose from my restless slumber, every muscle protesting after the sleepless night. The events of the previous evening felt surreal, like remnants of a half-remembered dream fading rapidly with the encroaching light. Yet, the sense of unease persisted. My eyes were drawn to the window where I had seen the spectral figure standing just hours ago. The glass pane bore smudged handprints that weren't mine, faint but undeniable. A chill ran down my spine as I rubbed away at the markings, but they only seemed to deepen under my touch. The morning air was crisp and damp, carrying with it an earthy scent unique to ancient forests. As I stepped outside, the forest seemed different somehow. More alive, perhaps, or maybe just more attentive. Every rustle of leaves, every distant hoot of a bird felt laden with meaning, as if the woods were trying to communicate in a language I couldn't understand. I decided to explore further, hoping to shake off the lingering dread. The forest floor was carpeted with fallen leaves, their vibrant colors muted by time and decay. As I ventured deeper into the woodland, I noticed something odd: footprints etched into the damp earth, leading away from the cabin. They were large, almost oversized, and seemed to belong to heavy boots similar to mine. My heart skipped a beat as I followed the trail. It led me to a small clearing, dominated by an ancient oak tree, its gnarled roots twisting up from the ground like grasping claws. Nestled among the roots was a worn-out journal, bound in tattered leather. Its pages were filled with entries detailing similar experiences to mine: eerie sounds, shifting shadows, and spectral figures. My hands shook as I turned each page, my mind reeling from the implications. Could this be some kind of sick prank? Or worse yet, was I not alone in this seemingly deserted forest? The journal ended abruptly, leaving me with more questions than answers. With a heavy heart, I made my way back to the cabin, the weight of the unknown pressing down on me. Upon entering, I noticed a peculiar smell, faint yet unmistakable. It was the scent of smoke, but not the comforting aroma of a wood-burning fire. This was different, acrid and stale, like the remnants of a long-extinguished blaze. I searched the cabin thoroughly, but found no source for the smell. However, during my search, I discovered something far more unsettling. Hidden behind a loose plank in the wall was a small niche, within which rested an old photograph. It depicted a man standing in front of the cabin, wearing heavy boots and a hat pulled low over his face, mirroring the figure from last night. Overwhelmed, I collapsed onto the bed, the events of the past 24 hours swirling through my mind like leaves caught in an autumn breeze. The haunting lullaby, the shifting shadows, the spectral figure at the window. And now this. It all pointed towards one chilling conclusion. But was I ready to accept it? That would have to wait until night fell once again. Wilderness had always been a source of solace for me, a place where I could escape the relentless pace of city life. But now, as twilight crept through the dense canopy of trees, casting elongated shadows across the cabin floor, I felt an inexplicable sense of unease. I spent the daylight hours poring over the journal I'd found, its entries written in a frantic scrawl that seemed to mirror my own growing dread. Each page was filled with accounts of similar experiences: haunting melodies, spectral figures, and an ever-present feeling of being watched. Yet, there was no explanation, no resolution, only the abrupt end that left me questioning its author's fate. As night descended, I found myself drawn to the window, staring out into the darkness that swallowed the forest whole. The eerie silence was broken by the distant hoot of an owl, its call echoing through the trees like a mournful cry. Then, just as the first stars began to twinkle in the clear sky, I heard it again, the low hum of a lullaby, soft yet unmistakable above the whispering wind. My heart pounded in my chest as I followed the sound, venturing deeper into the woods than ever before. The melody grew louder with each step, guiding me towards an ancient oak tree, standing tall and proud at the hearth. Its gnarled roots twisted up from the ground, intertwining to form a natural seat, or a cage, depending on one's perspective. Sitting there, under the watchful gaze of countless stars, I felt a profound connection to the unknown author of the journal. We were bound by our shared experiences, our mutual fascination, and fear of this enigmatic place. For the first time since arriving at the cabin, I didn't feel alone. However, this sense of companionship was short-lived. As the haunting lullaby faded away, replaced by the rustling leaves and hooting owls, I realized the truth. I wasn't alone. Whether it was the spirit of the sad-eyed stranger, or merely a manifestation of my own imagination, I couldn't say. But in that moment, amidst the ancient roots of the oak tree, I understood that I was part of something bigger, a continuation of a story started long before I arrived. Returning to the cabin, I knew what I had to do. The journal lay open on the table, waiting for its next chapter. As I picked up the pen, ready to document my own encounters, I couldn't help but smile. Despite the lingering dread, the unsettling shadows, and the haunting melodies, there was beauty in this solitude, a strange comfort in being part of something so much larger than myself. And so, as the moon rose high above the forest, casting silvery beams through the cabin window, I wrote. My words flowed freely, filling the empty pages with tales of spectral figures, shifting shadows, and eerie lullabies. Unanswered questions remained, mysteries unsolved, but that was okay. For now, I was content to exist within this enigma, to contribute my piece to the puzzle that would never be fully solved. As dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, I closed the journal, its leather-bound cover creaking softly in my hands. Placing it back behind a loose plank in the wall, I looked around the cabin one last time. Would I return? Perhaps. But for now, I needed to leave, to carry these experiences with me as reminders of the power of the unknown. As I stepped out onto the porch, the morning air crisp and damp against my skin, I took one final glance at the cabin. It stood there, silent and serene, a beacon of tranquility amidst the chaos of the world outside. And somewhere deep within its wooden structure, the journal waited, ready for the next chapter, the next storyteller drawn to its mysterious allure. With a heavy heart, I walked away, leaving behind the deep woods campsite, the remote cabin, and the ghosts of my own making. The haunting lullaby lingered in my ears, a melody that would stay with me forever, a reminder of the time spent within the ancient forest's embrace. Yet, as I disappeared into the encroaching light, I couldn't shake off the feeling that this wasn't the end. Instead, it was merely another beginning, another thread woven into the tapestry of stories told and untold, a testament to the enduring charm of the unexplained.